Hey, JulesBlessedVegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So I'm going to share a thought, a daily meditation, and this is from Food for Thought. And of course, it's Hazelden Meditation Foundation, and it does reference Overeaters Anonymous, which is fine with me because I deal with everything to do with disordered eating, right? So if it doesn't apply to you, don't panic. You're probably following me or tapping in because I talk about food. Of course, I talk about the good things. I'm striving to be vegan, the better way to live. But I also talk about where I come from. And I come from disordered eating. And the 12-step program, and Overeaters Anonymous in particular, has been very helpful to me. So that is the book that I'm referencing, Food for Thought. It's such a clever title. And this one is actually from 2 days ago. But it doesn't matter what day it is. The title is No Amount is Enough. Can you relate already? No amount is enough. When I think that food is going to solve my issue, I am in huge trouble, okay? So it says no amount is enough. For the compulsive overeater, one bite is too much and 1,000 are not enough. When you're using food to solve you, you know what I mean? Yeah, if I think that getting into the food, giving myself a treat, having one extra bite will fix whatever it is, that's when I know I will never be satiated. And by the time I'm done gorging and hurting myself and bloated and physically miserable, I'll still have that problem I didn't address, right? Oh my gosh. All right. So it says, no matter how much we eat, we are never satisfied. We think we remember a time when a small extra treat made us feel completely satisfied and content, and we try desperately to recapture that sensation. The more we eat, the worse we feel. Now, rather than satisfying us, the one extra compulsive bite triggers an insatiable craving, which drives us to consume enormous quantities of unnecessary food. And I know that, and I think part of that is because of the chemicals, of course, right? If I'm choosing standard American diet, vegan junk food, it's certainly the chemicals as well, because you could binge on 20 oranges, but you probably wouldn't make it to 20. And even if you did, it's such quality living food with fiber and everything else that it probably wouldn't make you want to go from binging on 20 oranges to 15 apples and 10 pears. Like, it just doesn't happen. So for me, a lot of that stuff, when I get into the chemicals, that's the first thing, because my microbiome just goes, oh, cool. She's slipping. Let's go for it. I mean, like, that's one thing. But also, because the body is desperately seeking nutrients, it will far exceed a reasonable amount of food, trying to get those needs met, you know? So it's kind of tricky on that. So it says, sometimes we stuff ourselves until we're exhausted, physically ill, and have run out of things to eat, but we are still not satisfied, because again, food is never going to tap into the emotional. It's never going to help with the spiritual, right? It's just the physical nightmare. Mentally, it probably won't solve anything. So the more we eat, the more we want to eat. Each excess increases an already out of control appetite. It says no amount will ever be enough to produce the kind of satisfaction we seek. Our only hope is to abstain from the first extra compulsive bite. So true. Honestly, following a food plan and eliminating all excesses and binge foods will eventually bring our runaway appetite under control. So when you join Overeaters Anonymous, and again, yes, it's for compulsive overeaters, but it's for undereaters, it's for bulimics, it's for bulimorexics, like anyone who struggles with food. And a lot of the times when people join, they're so used to coming from a diet mentality that they immediately say, fine, just give me the answer, I'll follow it, just stop the pain, you know? And it's very scary and upsetting when the program says we don't have a fix. You actually have to take a moment and get to know yourself and understand what your triggers are and have the courage to remove your trigger foods. And that's why it's a process. That's why it's 12 steps. You know, it's not a slide, it's steps. So, yeah, that can be scary for people. It says consciously working the steps of the OA program will day by day bring us the emotional and spiritual satisfactions which we can never acquire from food. Word. All right, Lord, show me how to work for true satisfaction. So important. Anyway, I'm happy to share that because I just want to remind myself, you know, I luckily have had a lot of serenity, you know, in the time that I've been taking care of myself. I did have a little trouble yesterday, but it was for under eating. You know, the last couple of days, my food just wasn't in order, and I was only eating like 700 calories up until like 5 or 6 o'clock. And I need more. So today, I actually had a couple of my dates with me at school. And I think the little bit of sweet and the fiber and all of that really gave me satiety. I'm pretending I know how to say that word. And kept me satiated until I got to my dinner and stuff like that. So it was a less compulsive, only in my mind, you know, day, which I really appreciated because it did get a little crazy for a moment. I started running my reel, you know, yesterday. And today I was like, what can I do different? And my husband bought me this 4-pound box of medjool dates, which are so beautiful, fresh and beautiful and grown just down the hill, like 50 miles from here. And I was just like, yum. Yum. Okay, I'm going to read this clean. No amount is enough. For the compulsive overeater, 1 extra bite is too much and 1,000 are not enough. No matter how much we eat, we are never satisfied. We think we remember a time when a small extra treat made us feel completely satisfied and content, and we try desperately to recapture that sensation. The more we eat, the worse we feel. Now, rather than satisfying us, the 1 extra compulsive bite triggers an insatiable craving which drives us to consume enormous quantities of unnecessary food. Sometimes we stuff ourselves until we're exhausted, physically ill, or have run out of things to eat, but we are still not satisfied. The more we eat, the more we want to eat. Each excess increases an already out of control appetite. Since no amount will ever be enough to produce the kind of satisfaction we seek, our only hope is to abstain from that first extra compulsive bite. Honestly following a food plan and eliminating all excess and binge foods will eventually bring our runaway appetites under control. Conscientiously working the steps of the OA program will day by day bring us the emotional and spiritual satisfaction which we can never acquire from food. Lord, show me how to work for true satisfaction. All right, my friends. Like if you like, join us if you haven't, subscribe. I hope you could relate to that. Again, don't worry if you're not in the 12-step program, you're not an overeater, a compulsive overeater. You probably, even in whatever realm, whatever walk, struggle at times regarding wanting to satisfy the emotional with something physical that never will, to turn off the mental with something that can't, to appease the physical. So you should probably be able to relate. All right, I'd love to hear your comments below, and until we talk again, best of all, know that you're blessed.